Hey everybody, so I kind of wish that I had a better video to come to you with today, but this is a concerning issue that I thought that I would kind of cover. So there was a unfortunately kind of crappy trend that's going on where American citizens are kind of defying ICE agents and the president by hiding illegal immigrants away and trying to basically defy the laws that say that these people need to get deported. Um, so, right here, I pulled up a TikTok showing this unsettling phenomenon, and this is kind of what a lot of Democrats and leftists, I would say not the average Democrat, I hope. I think these are extreme cases, extreme Democrats um, are actually doing. And the fact that it's not just average citizen folk, it's also judges who have fallen victim to this toxic mindset that is the left. So let's get right into it. Let's watch and we can kind of see how these protests are progressing.
If you see ICE disappearing people in the streets, will you get in the way? Yes! If you are charged with enforcing any part of the president's unlawful executive orders, will you resist? Yes! If your neighbor needs a place to hide, will you hide them? Yes! And right now, as the Maine legislature is trying to scapegoat transgender student athletes, bargaining long.
Okay, yeah, she's going on a longer tangent and getting into other subjects. We're gonna stop it right there. So yeah, you heard all the people firsthand saying that yes, they would get in the way of ICE agents and hide their neighbors and people who need to hide from ICE agents. That's really disturbing. So the story that we're going to be looking at today, Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested for allegedly obstructing federal immigration enforcement and concealing an individual to prevent his arrest. She's accused of trying to help an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest in her courtroom, which federal authorities allege is related to their immigration agenda. Following her arrest, she has been suspended by the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So, um, this judge has done some pretty treasonous things. So I've heard all I really know about this story so far, I've heard a little bit here and there, but there is a really great Asmongold video that breaks it down. I have not watched the whole thing, so I thought we'd watch it together and kind of react to it. But from what I know so far, this judge apparently was keeping this illegal immigrant in her house with her and went as far as to smash evidence on his phone, smash his phone to hide evidence, trying to, for some reason, protect this criminal, this terrorist, I guess, from being deported. I don't really understand why. Um, it's really this woke mind virus at its worst. So, um, let's pull this Asmongold video up and kind of see what's happening.
Um, this is crazy. So they are arresting judges now.
Good.
So for a while, remember that one? It was like
Nobody should be above the law, especially judges should be held to a higher standard. They're charged with upholding the law, right? So they should be the last ones that you would expect who would do something like this.
a governor that was talking about like keeping illegal immigrants in their house. Yeah, bro, they're putting the judges in jail.
Okay, so what he just said was that there was a governor keeping the immigrant in their house, so I might have gotten the two stories mixed up. So let's hear what this lady has done.
So rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave.
Wow. Okay, so this is shocking. What the heck? So apparently, this is another story. This is another example of an official actually helping a criminal escape for whatever reason, right? These people are throwing their careers away and breaking the law for what? Why are you helping this piece of shit? Like, this is a convicted criminal. It's disturbing to me. I thought these were the same story. It's really disturbing. This has happened with a governor and also a judge. Like, what the heck? These are high profile people here. We're not talking about just average nobody citizens. Holy
state
crap.
Prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to
Man. Bro. Man.
have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was...
It's not acceptable? Yeah. Well, that's what's going to deport the judge? Yeah, let's keep the illegal. Let's deport the judge.
I think it's about time that there's actually consequences, because it was actually really frustrating and infuriating for a really long time to see all of these people, some high profile people, but a lot of people who we saw in that TikTok earlier, and others who actually are actively breaking the law, not just talking about it. And they'll be on social media actively talking about and trying to egg others on to do things that they should not be doing, and they're just getting away with it. It just seemed like they could do whatever they wanted without the fear of consequences, and it's really nice to see that finally these people are getting what they deserve.
March 17th, and his message
I like that.
on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's
Thinking in the future,
efforts.
bro.
Listen.
I like it.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what...
I think they got to do more of it. They got to do even more of this. I think this is a good start. I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, me too.
You got these people that are actively siding with illegal aliens over their own citizens, and they're supposed to be a judge for them.
That's crazy. And to me, it's not just that they're siding with these illegal immigrants because they're trying to defy President Trump. She is a judge who literally sat in front of victims and actually saw this criminal right in front of her and the victims that he victimized, and still sided with him, even though, I mean, this wasn't a random case, right? This wasn't an illegal immigrant who could have maybe kind of been a criminal, but I have doubts. Like, she had no doubts. He was right in front of her with his victims right in front of her. Like, what the heck, man?
For America? Lock them the fuck up.
Yeah.
Traitors? Yes. 100%. Tracy, it's unbelievable to me, because, like, you got a
Traitors and heartless. Like, who does
bunch
that?
of these people on the internet. This is what's funny to me. Is you got a bunch of people on the internet, oh, they're putting judges in jail. This is just like Hitler. Oh, my God. Oh, I can't believe it. Yeah, because they're committing fucking crimes. It's like as if you're a judge. You can just do whatever the fuck you want. And if it's not politically, if it's, maybe politically messy, well, maybe you just might not get in trouble. Charge them with treason? Would I charge them with treason? I don't think you could unless it was a member of one of those gangs like Tren de Aragua, because they have been labeled as terrorist groups, and so they would be enemies of the state.
But they should for sure be arrested. For one, they are supposed to be upholding the law, right? um, they are elected officials, or you know, their sole purpose as a judge especially is to follow the law, right? And when you're taking somebody who's a criminal and you're allowing them to escape, you know, and you're not even thinking about the victims that are sitting right in front of you, right? You're no longer fit to be a judge. That should be the end of your career. At the very least, you're fired, you're barred from ever getting a job like that again, and you should definitely have jail time. Jail time for breaking the law, jail time for causing these people harm. These victims are caused harm now, right? The person who should be serving time is now escaping because of you.
So you wouldn't be able to charge them with treason, I don't think, unless they were members of one of these gangs. Now, if they were members of one of those gangs, would I want them charged for treason? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been saying this for a long time. I am very much an Old Testament personal accountability kind of guy.
Eye for an eye.
You want to make changes? You want to get people to do something? Give them consequences.
Mm-hmm.
What is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you.
Yeah, what's the point of a law if there's not going to be consequences for breaking that law, right?
I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen.
And in all fairness, just look at that lady's face. The only reason that she doesn't have a septum piercing or blue hair is because she's a judge.
Anna Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just
Why,
had an
though?
initial appearance.
Why would you do that? I don't understand. What is the motive? What is the motive?
There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were...
And I love how people think that, like, being a judge makes you unbiased.
Exactly.
You know?
These are just
if being
people.
a judge makes you unbiased, then why are people so worried about Donald Trump appointing a bunch of judges to the Supreme Court?
Right. Exactly.
Like,
good point.
You just use some logic.
Good point.
Arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member...
If you can be worried about, Trump appointees being biased toward Trump and what he wants, obviously there's going to be a lot of judges who are biased toward, the opposite agenda, and they're going to be doing things that maybe they shouldn't be doing for the left, right? So the pendulum swings both directions here, people. And it doesn't really matter what your political affiliations are or what your personal beliefs are. It matters that you're upholding the law. As a judge, you are supposed to do that no matter what. That comes first.
Member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were...
Gotta catch them all.
Living at their home was a truly potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member, So he comes through Eagle Pass.
So if this guy is helping another person and this guy is a judge, and he's misusing his position to help a person who's in a stated terrorist organization by the American government, I think that's treason. I do. I think that's treason. I think so. There's some people that are trying to downplay this. I think that we should downplay it. This should be way worse.
So I'm a little bit confused now. Is this a third? Like, did I have it mixed up twice? Like, this wasn't a governor that I was thinking of? This was another judge that I was thinking of, so there was a governor who is also guilty of this? I'm going to have to look this up later. I implore you all to do a Google search and try to figure this out after this video, because What the heck? Like, is everybody just losing their minds over here? How many are there?
They should be doing this way more. This is a good start. Thank God this is finally happening.
December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case, too. They get a tip.
Imagine if it was ISIS. Yeah, imagine if it was ISIS. Yeah, exactly. In my mind, there's no difference.
That he is living with a judge and the judge's wife.
No wonder that I got this whole story mixed up. So the one that I was thinking of was another judge. So when I heard judge and, you know, illegal, I just assumed it was the story. There's, oh my God.
So you got a guy from a fucking gang that's an illegal alien living in your house, and you're a judge?
Wow. And how did that happen? Like, how do you just invite this guy to live with you? That's crazy.
Bro, is he
Lock up the silverware,
he's in
right?
that NTR life? He was a tenant? They're landlords? Ooh. Ooh. Big mistake.
Oh, God.
Have him arrested first on immigration charges. A judge,
Big
Damian
mistake.
Martinez, releases him saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Well, good thing he's got that, huh?
Yeah, he does have a bullshit. He does have a good bullshit meter. It's full. Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to.
Oh, but at least the judge had a bullshit meter. At least it was an accurate meter, because we can ignore the tattoos, we can ignore the clothing, we can ignore the text messages, because he's a judge and his bullshit meter was saying, no, this guy's okay.
To TDA. So what charges will.
I don't trust the Trump admin at all. They're lying to you. Okay, but you trust the people that are disagreeing with them? Why?
And you trust the judges who are making these kind of like rational, I say that with holding up the air quotes, rational decisions, letting these criminals, convicted criminals, live with them. You trust them, though. You don't trust the guy going against the lawbreakers. You trust the ones breaking the law. And when you ask, why are you breaking the law? Why do you have this person living with you? Well, my bullshit meter said, oh, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Is it really that hard for you to believe that people would misuse their position for a personal gain? Like, really? Like, this is the most common sense reality. People do this everywhere in the world. Why would they do it? There's two reasons. They could be compromised by the gang. Like, either they feel like the gang threatened them, or they could be doing it for an ideological reason. It's hard, and it could be both, really. But that's probably those are the two likelihoods.
That's very true. I think that the latter is probably more likely, or they wouldn't be so starchly offending their positions, right? They wouldn't be, you know, defending themselves after the fact so harshly. I think if they were scared for their lives and they'd already been caught, they'd probably come out and say so. So they're probably just following their ideologies.
Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction.
Not enough. Not enough. Why are they such pussies, bro? Oh my God.
Yeah, why would you
They're
just be
such pussies? Like, what?
Why would you just be convicted of obstruction of justice when you're obviously guilty of more?
What are we Come on, let's go.
Charged. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed
Yep,
it, and then
that's
walked the pieces.
yeah, that's definitely what I was talking about. Like, what the fuck?
What?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him.
What a moron. You just, listen, you can get a Motorola burner for $50 at Walmart. What a fucking idiot. This is a joke, man. Even less, no, that's a high quality one. That's a really high quality one. Like you can get a flip phone for like 15.
Mm-hmm.
See, you can't play Candy Crush on this. This is a joke.
Wife also.
Bro, he should be disbarred for being bad at his. How is it that you're a judge, but you're this bad at hiding crimes? Shouldn't you know how to do this?
Right? Insider
What the hell is going
information.
on?
He should know, right?
What a
Oh my
fucking
God.
moron. Did you learn? Yeah, you didn't learn anything? What are the odds of Judge being on the cartel payroll? Above 0%.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that's going a little bit far. He might have been. I think anything's possible. I wouldn't be shocked if he was, but I'm leaning more toward it's just an ideology thing. Like, his head is so far up his ass. He thinks he's doing some kind of I don't know, uh what's the right analogy for this? He thinks he's doing something great for humanity, right? He thinks that, he's rising above the law and doing something that's morally correct, right? It's his ideologies. He thinks he's helping a fellow human. That that's what I would guess, anyways. A lot of these people, they're virtue signalers, right? They'll do things without really logically thinking through what they're doing, just to virtue signal that they're doing the right thing. When in actuality they're not obviously doing anything right.
Ortelios, thanks for 10 subs.
Was charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about.
Wow.
Oh, God. They pick the best martyrs, don't they? Woman beaters, child rapists, some guy with a necklace says kill.
Mm.
Oh, God. This is amazing. I love it.
Death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of 2 decapitated victims.
Who does this?
That's crazy.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So are you telling me that the judge that smashed up the phone didn't destroy the SIM card enough and the pictures were recovered? Oh, this guy's gotta go to...
Well, dude, in his defense, he looks like a boomer, so he probably did not understand that he had to take the SIM card out. Like, I'm just saying, he probably thought destroy phone means phone doesn't work. Haha. Evidence lost. He probably didn't occur to him. He's not forensics after all. I would guess the guy, this is just my assumption, right? Criminal came to judge, gave him a sob story. Maybe was pretty charismatic. Maybe convinced the judge that he was sorry or that he had done things before, but he wouldn't do them again. He probably convinced him that he was turning over a new leaf or something. I'm not justifying this at all. I'm just trying to justify why the judge may have done it. I'm guessing that he felt sorry for the guy and thought he was doing some kind of justice for humanity because of course anything against Trump is like justice, right? Um yeah, I say that very sarcastically. Um so yeah, this this was just I think it was a lot of manipulation and a lot of ideologically charged decision making.
Jail for being retarded.
He does. He needs to go.
What a fucking moron.
He definitely doesn't need to be a judge, right?
Memory, not sim? What's the... Where's the memory?
On the sim, dude.
The SD card? Excuse me. Excuse me. Yes, the SIM card is... Okay. Listen, I'm a little bit behind on it, but at least I know that every little movable chip, you gotta bust the fuck out of it. Also, there are so many other ways you could have done this.
He should have watched that movie Drop. Then you would have known to get rid of the picture evidence. You gotta bust the card, right? Flush it down the toilet.
Why would you put it in a dumpster? Why would you do that? It's so dumb. How are they so dumb, man? Microwave it? You could use a Faraday cage.
I mean, okay, in this day and age, there are cameras everywhere, right? Everyone's got a Ring camera. Every business has a surveillance camera. Not every corner, but lots of street corners have traffic cameras. It's hard to do anything nowadays without being on camera. So if he was seen, he has to know that when he goes out, he's being seen by multiple cameras all over the place, right? So he's going out of his house, carrying a SIM card to a trash can. He's going to be seen throwing it away. How do you think they found it? How do you think they found the card in the trash can? Right? He must have been caught on video throwing it away or seen by somebody. Or else how did they find it, right? The fact that he thought that he could get away with it, it's just crazy. Well, I guess it wasn't the SIM card, it was the whole phone he threw away because he didn't smash the SIM card, but yeah, I don't know why he thought that was a good idea.
You could microwave it, you could put it in bleach, you could smash it. I think the best idea is to smash it, microwave it, and then bury it in like some inconspicuous location. People are never going to find it. They're going to walk around with a metal detector. Like a Faraday cage is something that, okay, look, what I'm saying is that this guy's a fucking moron, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that knows what the hell they're doing would have never made this mistake. What an idiot.
Two victims decapitated, gruesome photos, and he was sending them out.
So he's sending photos away of people being decapitated?
So my question is, did the judge actually see the photos? I wonder if he looked through the phone before he smashed it. Right? Did he look? Because that makes a huge difference. If he looked and he ignored it, then that's much worse, in my opinion, than if he just believed a lie and then smashed the phone, right? Well, he had to have seen something in order to think that the phone needed to be smashed in the first place, right? So I wish I was a fly on the wall and I heard this conversation go down and I heard why he did it or what was said that convinced him that that was a good idea.
Man, I can't wait to see the protests for this guy to be brought back.
Out, and whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be.
And you're texting this? On what network?
Be texting these photos out.
No. Why would you even do that?
Well, it's not like this guy was a rocket scientist, right? I mean, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. The sharpest crayon in the
Probably
box.
is.
Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their.
What? The plot thickens. Why would you do that? What?
We got 3 more minutes left of this shit, bro.
Three more minutes of
I think, yeah, he gotta go to prison for stupidity. This is crazy.
yikes.
You can't make this shit up. I know. Like, they just need to be charged as gang members at this point?
This
No,
just keeps
because you
getting
can charge them
worse
as gang
and
members and you can't
worse.
charge them for treason. You have to charge them. No, you can't do that. That's a great idea, but no.
Daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal
Both?
report
Okay.
affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting.
Why? Even if he was okay, even if the judge was threatened, because that's the only thing besides insanity, besides the judge just completely going insane, right? And having some kind of psychotic episode and doing these things, giving this gang member a weapon, right? Allowing him to reside in his house, destroying evidence, seeing some evidence on the phone before destroying it, and still going through with all these actions. Dude, if he was insane, like, I hope he gets help. And if he was threatened to some extent, this man, he was he was a judge, right? He should have known better, right? He should have known what could have possibly happened. He should have been smarter than the average bear, right? And had a little bit more like thought process behind his decision making skills. This is scary. These are our judges. These are our best and brightest. Like, if I accidentally did something wrong, because of course I would never do anything wrong on purpose, um, and I got into a situation where I was standing in front of a judge and I was pleading my case, you mean to tell me that the guy who's listening and deciding my fate could be this asshole? Well, not anymore, because, he's done. His career is down the toilet. But I'm sure there's many other judges out there like this. And of course, technically, logically, we all know judges are just people, right? They're just people. I could become a judge if I really tried, right? But for some reason, I just have this idea where judges are supposed to be these grand, like, figures, they're supposed to be above just normal citizens. They're supposed to know, like, what's right and wrong. They're supposed to call out the law, right? They're supposed to be just, right? This just goes to show they're not. We need a better system, because leaving really important decisions up to these obviously biased individuals, people can't always be trusted, and I don't know what the answer is.
So a judge is supplying weapons to a terrorist? Yeah.
Consequences is a really good
Yeah.
place to start, right? Consequences.
So, what I think is really funny about this is that there are actually people concerned trolling that, oh my god, but Hitler arrested judges too.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Trump, are we even gonna have another election?
Oh my
He's
god.
gonna put them all in jail.
That's insane. Oh my god. I hate that this Hitler shit keeps coming up all the time. If I hear Nazi one more time, I'm gonna run my fucking head into a brick wall. I'm not even kidding. This is getting ridiculous. Every single day I hear jokes, I hear whispers about Trump running for a third term, and I swear to God, as it stands right now, unless something drastically changes my mind, I know I know what everyone's thinking. Well, everyone's probably thinking different things, but I would vote for Trump again. There, I said it.
Oh no. Like, it's crazy. What's wrong with these fucking people? I have been sitting in Florida reading this retarded bullshit for 4 days. I've been losing my fucking mind.
This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Let me, if I could.
Obstruction of justice. What a pussy charge. Give me a break.
Madam Attorney General, come back to the Wisconsin
Come
case
on.
and Judge Hannah did
Yeah,
it.
he deserves
Because
way
in
more than
allegedly
that.
letting the perpetrator and the attorney out.
I don't even care, honestly. I don't even care what his sob excuse is of why this judge committed this crime, why he did what he did. He did it, man, and you've got to live up to the consequences. You make your bed, you lie in it, right?
Out through a non-public exit and allowed them to get out in front of the building. We had a situation where we've seen that I know Tom Homan was complaining about in Colorado, where there would be no transfer of a defendant.
Do you believe it all at face value, regardless how believable it sounds? I'm sure there's embellishment here and there. But do I believe that judges are actively working to obstruct the justice system in order to facilitate illegal immigrants into the country? Yes, I think that. And I think
Some
any of
are.
them that do that should be arrested. And I think the ones that do that and they unknowingly or knowingly help a member of a terrorist organization should be charged directly with treason.
Right. And I mean, this is part of the reason why we have a lot of these laws, right? About, immigration and we're not talking about this judge, woman. I'm trying to be careful what I call her. I think calling her judge is unjustified because she's obviously not a judge anymore. Um and I'm trying to be nice here. um I think that we have these laws that these judges uphold because when they don't uphold the law, it's chaos. When they do these things and they make these decisions that are crazy and they're against the law, you're you're causing chaos. You're allowing the unjust. You're allowing the lawbreakers. You're allowing the criminals to walk free, and you're hurting the victims. You're hurting their future victims by allowing them to be here. We have these laws and these processes for a reason, okay? It is their job to uphold the law, okay? Just uphold the law, okay? We don't want to hear what you think about it. We don't care what you think about it. It just you may not even understand the law completely, but as a judge, your job is to uphold it anyway because a lot of people voted on these laws. A lot of people put these laws together, and the laws were put together. I think for the most part, laws are put together for the good of all the people, right? So even if you don't completely understand a law, as a judge, you are sworn to uphold the law anyway.
That's what I believe. Not disbarring, not putting them in jail. Again, Old Testament. The moment that you implement legitimate, real, personal consequence is the moment that this stuff goes away. So Trump is too soft? He's way too soft. Way too soft. I hope Trump, listen, can somebody fucking tell him this? His entire first term, he spent trying to be reasonable. Bro, you don't have to give a fuck anymore. Just do it. Just do it. Everybody wants this. It's the right thing to do. Just fucking do it. Go, yeah, ball out. Fuck it, ball out. Exactly.
I kind of agree with this. I want to say in Trump's first term, I actually did not really like him at all. And I think looking back on it, I can justify or reason out what I was thinking, why I didn't like him, and why I simply love him now. So back then, I watched CNN quite a bit, and I was fooled into believing it because why would the media lie to me? Why would CNN, these newscasters, why would they trick me? What did they get out of it, right? And when I heard President Trump speak, right, whenever I saw him, like a snippet of him on CNN, um, and I've learned today, right, I didn't know it back then, but a lot of the content was curated, a lot of it was clipped and snipped and edited so it looked a certain way. And I've seen a lot of that now. But back then I didn't know. So I would always see Trump and he was and to be fair, he did actually defend himself quite a bit. He spent his entire first term losing his mind, right? And so to me, because of the narrative that I was hearing, um, it looked as though he was completely unhinged, right? It looked as though he didn't have control of himself or his emotions. It looked as though everything was just bothering him and he just couldn't handle the position and he was just volatile. But what I've come to see is he is just a very just and he's trying to be fair, right? He seems to be a good man. And although he's human, okay? He's not perfect. He's made some mistakes here and there. Um, but he's trying really hard, right, to do the right thing for America. And I think during his first term, he was just beside himself with the dishonesty, the attacks, the crazy things that he would just have to defend, right? And um I think that I've recently tried to put myself into that position, right? Once I kind of realized and I stopped watching CNN and I started using X. Shout out to Elon Musk. That is an awesome platform. Um, so I started seeing all the different sides, right? And I started seeing like Asmongold, and I started watching Matt Walsh, and I started seeing Nuxinor, and I started seeing all sides of it. And I do still watch snippets of CNN and MSNBC and all of these other. I try to see little snippets of lots of things, right? Um, and I try to get as clear a picture as I can. You can't just trust mainstream media anymore. Everybody knows that, right? But well, everybody pretty much should know that, but I think there's still a lot of people who don't know that. So basically, I put myself into this man's position, and I tried to think like, how would I feel if I was being attacked from every side, and lies were being thrown around, and my character was being completely smashed, and I was just being thrown into the bus, and I had people saying these things, and I'm literally standing there exasperated saying, I'm trying everything I can, I'm trying to do what's right, and I'm getting blocked, and these things that they're saying are so out of context, and these were years ago, and no matter how many times I tried to defend myself, people were just coming out of the woodwork. I would have probably acted like him too. Excuse me, I think that he tried his best. And now he's been attacked so much, he's been through the ringer, and this time around he's just fucking done. He's done, and he's just getting stuff done, right? And I see him for who he is now. I think I have a much clearer picture of what's happening, and I approve of Donald Trump and what he's doing, and I think that he's doing the best he can, and I'm really glad to see that real change is happening for the better. He's doing things that he thinks are good for all of us, and I think they are. I think America is becoming safer. I think that you know, interest rates and you know, inflation and everything else are down. I love hearing that jobs are going to come back to the U.S. I can't wait to start seeing plants actually going up and people actually getting jobs. I think this is great. When he talks about make America great again and the golden age of America, I see it. And I have hope for America and it's great. Um yeah. So that's all I have to say on that.
Attorney General is too soft. I think she's way too soft as well. I I want somebody like Tom Homan in there, right? Like that's yeah, the families can be deported together. Let's get him in charge. This guy knows what matters.
From a jail to ICE custody on a detainer request in a way that was orderly and protected public safety. They would dump them off in a parking lot, and then ICE would have to chase them around with the DEA or whatever, or FBI, and pick them up.
What is this? Is this hide and seek? What the fuck is this?
This ended up in a foot chase in public sight. It says here a foot chase ensued. The agents, and this was a DEA agent and an FBI agent, pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse, ultimately apprehended him near the intersection of West State Street and 10th Street. So the judge apparently has created a situation here where you have a public foot chase. And we all know that, well, sometimes they can come off without incident. They can also turn into very dangerous situations.
John, that's exactly right. She put the lives of our law enforcement.
Pam Bondi talks big, but we haven't seen much from her. I know. We have to listen. Like the fact that she hasn't had the Epstein files come out, like we haven't had any high-profile direct arrests.
Yeah. What is going on with those? I feel like somebody in the government, somebody who really has a lot of power and influence is blocking them somehow legally, or I don't know what's going on, but I think that they're genuinely trying to release the Epstein files, and I think that something is going on that's blocking them. They probably can't talk about it because a lot of legal issues you're not allowed to talk about when it's like pending litigation, right? So something's happening and someone's really trying to block this. So there must be some juicy shit on that list, and I can't wait till it comes out.
I mean,
justice, man. These
nah,
people,
bro. Like we gotta get this in there.
Enforcement officers at risk. She put the lives of citizens at risk. A street chase, which is absurd that had to happen. But yes, she put a lot of people at danger. That judge did it. So did the other judges.
This is what these people don't understand is like there's a lot of second order effects. Like for example, identity theft, and also like if you let somebody run away from the police, there's a chance that other people could be hurt trying to avoid the chase. Or this person could hurt somebody in the process of the chase. There's a lot of ways that this can create a domino effect that can negatively affect other people's lives.
Right. And it's not like he wasn't already a convicted criminal with, victims right there in the courtroom. And the judge obviously doesn't care about any of his victims. Her ideologies were stronger than her sense of justice.
Judge Cano is charged
Spider-Man
with
1?
They were
Great. There you go. Yeah, Spider-Man 1. Uncle Ben from exactly.
allegedly giving him assault rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s, with a suppressor, a known TDA member, letting him go to a shooting range to refine and perfect his shooting skills. Now, what's happened to our judiciary is beyond me.
Yeah, so when the American public hears this and they think these were
That's
once
crazy.
upstanding people in their communities and their professions, and they put it all on the line for this. I mean, have you dug into their motive? Like, what?
It's because they think that they're untouchable because they're judges, and prosecuting them would come with a certain degree of political risk.
They also, they're so wrapped up in their ideologies, and they've got so many people, like, egging them on, right? Saying what they would do on TikTok and on all these different platforms. What would I do to obstruct justice? And what would I do to fight the ICE agents? And what would I do if I had an illegal immigrant or someone in front of me who was just poor and misunderstood? I would hide them, of course. So, you have these judges and these citizens, these individuals who are willing to do about anything to virtue signal to the people around them who have the same ideologies as them. And it's insane. It's insane the lengths that they'll go to for this. Um, they're not thinking about anything but the ones who matter to them are the virtue signalers, the ones around them who believe the same thing as them. They're all in echo chambers, they all have cell phones, they all watch videos, right? Um, they're all in chat rooms and forums together. And it's dangerous, right? When you're so like politically charged that you're willing to make decisions based on what the group that you agree with and those who agree with you, who make you feel good and feel seen, what they're willing, um, what they agree with, right? What they're charging each other up, right? They're telling each other what they should do and how proud they'd be of each other if they did certain things. And they feel isolated if they don't follow their group. So, um, the fact that they're willing to go to these lengths shows that nobody, including judges, are above the basic human need for attention, for camaraderie, for human interaction, right? They're getting jazzed up from other people who are telling them that they can break the law and do these things and that makes them good people. It doesn't make them good people, but they can't see past their own they can't see past their own ideologies. They can't see past the ones surrounding them, right?
I think that what they don't account for is the fact that what I think the majority of the country wants this to happen. And I think that if you accurately communicate this to the public, the overwhelming majority will want this to happen. And the only reason why there isn't universal support for this is because of active lies and disinformation, which is very common, but that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Inspired them to carry out these acts and harbor criminals.
They're deranged is all I can think of.
They're
cannot...
stuck. They're not, well, okay, so they're deranged because they're not thinking logically. But when you're, what I was trying to explain just a second ago, it's hard to explain. These people are surrounded by a group of people who is making them deranged, right? They're telling them to do things, they're telling them to be a certain way and to fit in with the group that they feel like they're comrades with. They're willing to break the law, they're willing to do these crazy things, like the ones you saw blowing up Teslas, right? And scratching Nazi symbolism into the sides of Teslas. The ones you see protesting, I see TikToks all the time. I see videos on X where these people are protesting or they're going to these crazy rallies and they're holding up signs that say, you know, really hateful things about Trump and about the right and then you ask them, you know, why are you here? You know, what are you protesting? And they can't even explain it. They don't know. But they just feel like they're part of something because the ones around them agree with them and accept them in. And they're just, at the end of the day, they're just human, right? And it looks deranged. And it kind of is. It really is. I don't agree with these people at all. But I feel like the ones who are spreading the misinformation and who are causing this divisiveness, who are causing these people to group up, right, and hate each other, they're willing to do anything for their group, right? The CNNs of the world and the MSNBCs and the ones who are willing to, like, they know what they're doing, right? They know that they're spreading disinformation and they're doing it anyway. They're they really need to be held accountable, first and foremost. And yeah, the ones who are breaking the law, they definitely do, because as soon as you show everyone else that there are consequences, real consequences for your actions, you actually have to think hard before you do things, because, you know, it's illegal for a reason, right? There's a reason you can't do this. Even if you don't understand what it is, this is a definite consequence that will happen if you break this law, right? Um, that'll stop it immediately. Um, and if you hold all of the news outlets and all of the, social media platforms who are spreading disinformation on purpose, and all of the people who are getting onto these social media platforms and who are just outwardly defiant to the law and to officials, and you hold them accountable, I think a lot of this will stop immediately, right? I think a lot of it would. And we really need to hold these higher ups really responsible for the havoc that they're causing these people. Cuz I mean, I'm trying to, I guess I should just come right out and say it. I feel like most people are pretty stupid. Like they're impressionable and they're stupid, right? They don't think before they do. And they're willing to just do these things because they're just people, right? They're just people and they're just feeling like they're fitting in, right? It's really dumb. It's like school-aged shit. That you see these kids doing these crazy things because of peer pressure and because they want to fit in. And fundamentally these adults at heart are just, they're just humans. They're just kids, right? At heart. And they're just doing the same shit that they would have done in school to fit in, right? So we really have to hold the ones who are propagating the information and who are allowing it to spread and who are spreading it themselves. They first and foremost need to, they really need to be held accountable. So, anyways, tirade over. Sorry, that's just, had to get that off my chest.
I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not.
That's
and
exactly
we're sending a very strong message today. If you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are. If you are helping hide one, if you are giving a TDA member guns, anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you and we will prosecute you. We will find you.
If I could just finish off with this idea, very significant development that you're arresting judges now. Now, it could be that the judge...
It's not significant at all. It's not. This is a person who broke the law. They used their position to break the law. Like, there's police officers, like, I guess I could just say, I've known people that have sold drugs to police officers, right? Like, this is, look, it happens, guys. It does. It happens. And the corruption, it's all the way down and all the way up. This isn't like, oh, you take this position and you're somehow this, immutable character, paragon of good character.
Exactly.
That's just not how it works.
Exactly. I mean, I've been in positions of authority, right? I've worked as a corrections officer. I've been in the Army. I've done lots of different things. And as a corrections officer, I can tell you firsthand, there were a lot of officers who were just as bad as the people that were in the prison. They were bringing shit in. They were trading with the prisoners. They were breaking the law just as much. If they were caught, they would have been in the prison too. They just weren't getting caught. There were some higher ups. There were lieutenants who were in on it. And really, it's just the way it is, right? There's good and bad people everywhere, right? People are willing to do anything, basically.
Judges have engaged in terribly bad behavior and
It's
deserve...
significant in a good way? It is. Very good way.
I think what I'm trying to say is you can't assume that just because of a person's station in life, just because of their job or their title, that they're better, right? Not necessarily.
Be arrested. But you know what critics will say? They'll say, "Oh, this is a government that is expanding the powers of the Article 1 of the Constitution. Now they're arresting judges."
Thank
How do you
God.
respond to that?
No one is above the law, John. No one is above the law in this country. And if you are destroying evidence, if you are obstructing justice, when you have victims sitting in a courtroom of domestic violence and you're escorting a criminal defendant out a back door,
Not escorting, sneaking, right?
it will not be tolerated, and it is a crime in the United
There it is. She just lied. Hunter Biden's above the law. Trump's above the law. Yeah, he got a pardon. That's what it is. And that's not, by the way, getting a pardon isn't being above the law. That's using the law. That's a fact. Like, and so that's really the difference, right? I mean, you're literally like, this is a clever use of game mechanics, you could say, but at the same time, it's in the rules.
Alright, and that's all I have for today. I think that this video is getting long enough and I have overstated my point. So if you like this video, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. And until next time everyone, bye!